What are we waiting on?
It's loading.
Okay. Just let me know when. Yeah, it's in like an old brick building. Stone Cloud is, and it's like in a weird little parking lot. It's awesome and really, really like the best beer in the state. I'm not even kidding.
I believe it.
Take your time, Jared. It's fine.
I'm gonna have a warm cider.
A warm cider? What kind of cider?
Oh, it's cold. Oh my god, that's cold.
What is it?
Fuck.
Oh, Austin East ciders. Yeah. Cody went there when he was in Austin.
I did too.
I know you did.
I love
Hi
it.
guys, welcome to episode 26 of We've Got Issues and You've Got Them Too. It is another Sunday evening, and we are back, and we're discussing social media and I guess the social dilemma and how they have monetized your social media profiles. And I am with, as always, my co-host.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I'm cracking a cold one.
And
Gotta get that
producer Jared is
ASMR
here
in
as
there.
well, with his mic muted. Maria, this is a topic that you seem to be very passionate about. So I'm going to let you lead the way, and I'll just fill in where I can without sounding like a bumbling idiot.
So, for those of you who have not seen the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, that's essentially what we're going to be talking about, because I think that a lot more people need to understand how evil social media really is. I advocate for it because a lot of great things, you can connect with people, it's wonderful, everything's great, but mostly we're going to be talking about the dark side of these apps, right? So social media initially had a super benevolent idea of connecting people via Zanga, MySpace, and then we get to Facebook. So Facebook is something that I think I personally got into in about ninth grade, so freshman year of high school, and it's something that I didn't really understand the repercussions of, because Mark Zuckerberg kind of had an idea of, okay, Zanga did it well, MySpace did it well, how are we going to make ourselves the latest and greatest? And through that, essentially what you're looking at is he monetized the space on Facebook for ads, which isn't a extremely convoluted sort of marketing scheme. It's actually a few ads placed here and there are pretty benign. Like if you click on them, okay, you got to make your revenue. I get it. But the monster that this has turned into is something that is honestly really scary and is really shocking to me. I spend so much time on social media, so much time, because I enjoy the dopamine hit that it gives me, because my ADHD brain loves that instant gratification that I can swipe up on TikTok and get something completely new, completely different, and get me on like a deep dive going in that, right? So Facebook has stocks, right? So a social media platform is being publicly traded at the New York Stock Exchange. Why? What's their product? You're the product. You are the reason why. You're the cash cow. So companies buy space on Facebook in order to sell their stuff, which is still, it's a good business strategy, but the AI that they're using to predict your brain patterns and your buying patterns are getting so advanced that, like, I know before I have thought of something that I saw maybe once, or I was like, hey, I really think that this, I'll just use something like these overalls I really want. I thought that in my head. I didn't say that to anybody. And then an ad for it came up on the exact ones that I wanted. And I was like, man, that's weird. And I bet you literally everybody has some sort of story like that.
Yeah. I mean, you click on something from a website and then it's advertised all over your Facebook page.
Seriously. I know a few people actually did an experiment to see how much your phone listens to you. So they left like a 10-hour recording of two Russian people having a conversation. I believe that the result of this was that the phone actually changed the language to Russian and started
Osvidanya.
exactly and started advertising for typically Russian things.
Yeah.
And so that is pretty unsettling. I think that the amount of time that people spend on social media, and I'm guilty of it, is asinine, because I don't want to get on this super high horse and be like, you should be out in life enjoying things and being happy, because we're in 2020 in a pandemic. Do what you got to do. But I think being aware of what's actually going on behind the scenes is very important. These algorithms are designed to predict human behavior, and they're only going to get better from here. So if we're reaching a sort of advanced stage where this app can predict that I want these overalls from Target specifically, that's something about that just doesn't sit right with me.
Mm-hmm.
So the social dilemma goes into a lot of the AI and how it works, and you see the people that created this AI, and you get to look these people in the face. And the only way that I can parallel it is the interview had the same vibe as like when they interviewed the man who invented the atomic bomb about what he thought about his creation.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was very remorseful. He's like, we have tried to mimic God. We have created something crazy, catastrophic. And I'm not trying to be alarmist, but I think that you are allowed your privacy.
Yep.
And for something to be predicting the way that you think in order to sell you more things is just too much capitalism for me. Like, I don't want to be publicly traded like stock cattle on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm a human. I'm sorry. We're past this.
Now back to those overalls. Were you using it for taking care of your crops and fields?
Stop. No, I was not using it for tending to the fields.
Speaking of social media, I think it's crazy that basically 50 people, because that's probably about approximate like how many designers there are on most of those websites that are in charge of the coding and stuff, control 2 billion people.
Precisely.
It's insane to me. I mean, that's the average. That's not average. That's the estimated amount of people that have Facebook or Instagram or any of those things. It's 2 billion people, which is a lot of people in the world. I mean, that's crazy. It's scary that much control is had by social media in my eyes. And I think it's hilariously funny because we've been seeing a lot of it lately, and I just think there's a good parallel here. People that are talking about there being chips in the vaccines and stuff. Your phone literally listens to you, and social media literally knows where you are, and your phone knows your exact coordinates most of the time if you use any location services for a Weather Channel or Google Maps or whatever the hell you use. So
DoorDash, you name it.
Your phone is literally that chip you're worried about getting in a vaccine that you have on you 24/7. So you're not off the grid.
Exactly. You're not off the grid. You're not avoiding anything by not taking the vaccine other than the fact that it maybe hasn't been tested 100%. That's the only thing. But I think that a lot of this also, what am I trying to say here?
Take your time.
I encourage you to really watch The Social Dilemma. Take some time. Watch it, formulate your own opinion on this, because this is purely just my opinion. I just think that it needs to be known what's actually happening, and kind of amplifying that. Not in a sort of fear-mongering way, but just like, hey, maybe set a screen time limit. You can ignore the screen time limit, but maybe just try it out.
I'm curious. I don't know the numbers on that, but I've seen a lot of articles in the last year about the radicalization of people who have become entrenched in either QAnon or white supremacy that have been radicalized by such things as YouTube and Facebook. And that just, I think, speaks to the larger problem with social media.
And that brings up another really good point. I believe that they touched on. I don't remember this for certain, but I can't remember if we talked about this before. But it's a free arena to say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And that sort of misinformation has been traveling so fast. Like, fake news didn't exist until what, like 2015? Alternative facts. That word in and of itself is contradictory. Alternative.
Okay. The art of twisting or not telling truthful things through social media or news definitely existed before 2015, but the term alternative or fake news didn't exist until then. You're correct. Because, I mean, people like Fox News already exist. Tucker Carlson was already a person. Sean Hannity was already a person. There's a whole level. Misinformation was already a problem. It's just gotten heightened and more
progressively worse.
Progressively worse, yes. It's definitely a problem. Social media as a whole is a problem. It allows you to be a keyboard warrior where you can say whatever you want.
I think that the fact that people there's a double-edged sword in that, where people can come together and they can find communities where they fit in, is great. But at the same time, when you get groups like QAnon or, people who only believe what they read on Facebook, like, copy and paste this so that Facebook can't take your identity. Like,
those are so hilarious to me. It's always older people too that are like over 50, and I don't mean that as a slight to people that age. It's always people like that are people I'm usually related to, or teachers I had in like high school that are like 70 or 60, and it's like, that doesn't work. It's hilarious.
I work in telecommunications. I work in mobility, and the amount of people that come in that fall for scams or click the wrong link. I had this one lady come in, and she thought she had a virus on her phone, and she was on a website that took her to one of those pop-up ads.
Porn?
No, it wasn't porn. But she was on a website that took her to one of the pop-up ads that made it look like you were going into your iPhone settings and that there had been a virus detected. Like, it looked like an iPhone pop-up. And so she's like, what do I do? Do I need to get a new phone? And I was like, honey, no. Like, people that have grown up with technology and seen it advance at light speed, like the end of Gen X, I think maybe we'll throw them in there, but millennials and Gen Z, and then later, we have an outstanding like bullshit-o-meter. Like, we can definitely tell what to click on, like, to download something. Yeah. You know what I mean? How they have like 4 different download buttons.
Yeah, but over the several times with family members, it's important. They get emails that say like their account's been hacked and stuff, and I'm like, you need to check the info on who sent it, and usually it's some garbage email that pretends they're Apple or Netflix or whatever, and it's like, it's not real. It's a hacker or whatever, or a phishing scheme where they're trying to get your password for. Because most of those websites make it clear that they're never going to ask for your password in an email. Like,
exactly, unless you reset your password.
Yes, exactly.
I think that it's good to have that banding together, but you get groups like QAnon that just fester, for lack of a better word, because they're thriving on this misinformation that they themselves are spreading. And so it's this vicious Ouroboros cycle that you have, where you put out misinformation, it gets even more twisted, and then you like reconsume it, and you're like, oh my God, this is worse than I ever thought. Like, it's not real. It's okay. There may be like a tinge of truth in each one of those. Like Pizzagate, for instance. I believe that there are. Boy. I do think that there are like people that do people in power that do shitty things. I mean, that's what comes with power.
Yeah, but the whole whole Pizzagate thing is tied very, not loosely, it's tied pretty tightly to QAnon. I mean, it's so like it discredits it immediately for me. Any like,
I do think that people in power abuse it.
oh, absolutely, that's 100% true. I mean, that's true with any government, not just the United States government.
But I don't think that there's a ring of pedophiles that are reptilian and sacrificing children and drinking their blood. I don't.
Is that the actual Pizzagate thing? Is the drinking the blood part of it?
I think I may have embellished on the drinking the blood, but definitely like.
I did the pedophile part. I just didn't know the drinking the blood part.
So it evolved so much because when I first encountered it, it was just like a pedophile thing. Like people in power just had this pedophile island that they took kids to and did disgusting things like child stars and shit. And then I started seeing that it was like reptilians and then like Anunnaki and like I love a good conspiracy, but this is not a good conspiracy. It's not something that sounds actually feasible. Like Area 51 hiding aliens, that's feasible.
Not feasible. Okay, got it.
Let me dream. But
I mean, anything's possible. I feel like we're going off the rails a little bit, but I don't care. Anything's possible with Area 51. 100%. I don't disagree with you, but I think it's more likely that we're housing weapons that nobody knows of than aliens.
How they get the weapons? I'm just mad.
Oh my god, X-Files. Start playing music.
Trust no one. But it's so crazy to me to see how it affects different generations of people, how social media affects different generations of people, and it's always a sort of dichotomy of hypocrisy, I feel like, whenever social media is involved, because older generations love it because they get to stay connected and they get to, see their grandkids, see their family pretty much every day as soon as they log on. And that's a really good thing for them. But at the same time, they're like, oh, don't trust everything you read on social media, but they blindly do it anyway. And then it's weird to see how millennials and Gen Z and everyone else learn technology so quick. And even like this newest generation, I had one of my customers tell me that their infant child figured out that they needed to hold the phone in front of their parents' face to unlock it. And that blew my mind. I was like, Jesus, man. Really?
I mean, it's not shocking.
It's not shocking, but it's so I don't know, it's kind of jarring to me because I was just a baby. Like I didn't have iPads or anything like that. So it's crazy to see how newer generations react to technology that
has to do with us being older. I mean, we're old comparatively.
Right. I mean, we're not old, but
we're old comparatively to the generation who grew up with everything. We were alive for the flip phones and the clunker Nokia and whatever else there was, the Motorola
Sidekick and Razor. I never got a Razor.
Yeah. I never got a Razor either. I know people that had Razors, but we were alive for those things. Is my point. So like we weren't just completely thrown into the deep end where it's like, oh, iPhones and Facebook and MySpace and everything. And those things didn't come along until we were teenagers, or close to being teenagers, preteens. And we talked about this before. We had AIM and stuff. Those are things we had when we were a kid. That just screams 90s. We were right at the end of that like era of AIM stuff, and then kind of just thrust into the Zynga, MySpace, Facebook era. And then Instagram came along and Snapchat. And Snapchat is pretty new still, honestly. I mean, people are going to think it's like old now, but it didn't come out
until like 2013?
2012, 2013, something like that. I had it senior year of high school and I graduated in 2013. I remember having it the fall of that, so like 2012. So it's only 8 years old, and that seems like an eternity in social media. but 8 years isn't that long. I mean, it's not that long ago.
It really is. In comparison, obviously not, but it's still so crazy to me how everything is just going at warp speed. The real like crux of what I'm trying to get at is things. I feel that things will continue to get worse with this social dilemma thing.
100%.
That
You and this speaks to a larger, not just a social media problem, but a governmental problem. Under previous administrations, including Obama's, spying was encouraged. You look at, which is I just talked about this the other day with somebody about Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden and Julian Assange. Those things all tie in to how things are now. They're okay with, people using our predictive behaviors. They're okay with spying on us, taking away our personal freedoms. And I'm not going to go down some, far right wing bullshit, but at the same time, it is concerning that they think that it's okay to break our civil liberties in order to accomplish their wider goals.
But your privacy is, I mean, that's the most important thing. And with every single terms and conditions that you accept.
I was about to say that. I was about to talk about terms and conditions before you said it. You're right, though. Continue.
I work with terms and conditions every single day. Nobody reads it. I have had 2 people in the year that I have worked in mobility that have read the terms and conditions. One of which was a salesperson who sold used cars. The other of which was a lawyer. She actually read it.
Well, those aren't surprising, but used car salesmen make people sign those agreements too. They're shysters. So.
Mm-hmm. And he wanted to know how I was going to mess him over. And I was like, dude, it's not like you can see for yourself.
You should have just whispered, dude, they all fuck you over. It doesn't matter which carrier it is.
I know. True. Seriously. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually
is. One of those things where you have to, which not to get off topic for too long, but it's one of those things where you have to just basically switch companies every 2 years to get the best deals and new customer.
I'm not going to say where I work, but coverage wise, it is the best, but price wise, it is the worst.
I mess with T-Mobile pretty hard now. The coverage is pretty good.
Good luck trying to talk and text at the same time.
I can do that. What do you mean?
What?
I can do it all.
You can?
I can surf and talk. I can text and talk. Yeah, T-Mobile's the second carrier that I'd be able to do it.
Of course.
Good luck. I've been doing it for weeks now. Child, please.
But all of this is really kind of leading into also like be mindful of what you're doing, because I know that 2020 has been a shit year, but this is really the time to kind of start. We have a new president-elect and we need to hold him accountable for the shit that's been going on. All of this shit, 100%. It is an invasion of your privacy to have your phone camera watch you and watch your eye contact and how long the duration that you look at an ad. Every time you look at an ad, scroll through Shine or whatever, you scroll through Romway or whatever.
Not to be old, but what the hell is Shine?
Shine is this really bad, like fast fashion Chinese.
And the other one, what'd you say the other one was?
Romway, ROMWE.
God, I'm old. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It's just cheap. That's the only reason I look at it. It's like Wish, but it's like if Wish and Forever 21 had a child.
That sounds horrifying. I'm sorry. That sounds horrifying.
It's so cheap though.
But I already hate both of those places.
Yeah, because you don't shop at Forever 21 or Wish.
I've been to Forever 21 before, and it is a horrifying experience.
Once. You just gotta walk to the beat. You just gotta walk to the beat.
Have you ever been to okay, quick story. Have you ever been to a 3-story one before?
I've been to a 2-story one.
They're fucking awful. It's like, oh, we went through one floor. Okay, we're good. We're going. And it's like, oh, there's an escalator. What kind of hell is this?
When
And I
will my
don't dislike
suffering end?
shopping. Just Forever 21 is like a hellscape for me.
Because it's mostly girl stuff. I mean, it's like mostly girl clothes, and you don't wear girl clothes.
You don't know that?
I don't know that. That's true.
Anyway, back to what you're saying. Eye contact, ads.
I think that it's important to hold our new president-elect accountable
Yeah,
because
and
honestly, we didn't.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Honestly, we didn't really want him. It was out of necessity, like I've said a million times, but it's still something that we need to change because there's no reason that Mark Zuckerberg should be rich because of this. It is, do not get me on the tangent about Mark Zuckerberg. But anyway, so another thing that I really kind of want to meld two seasons. Hold on. Oh, it's my cat. That's good. I would kind of want to meld the end of this season into the beginning of the next one, and we've already talked a little bit about like generations and how they handle things. But I really want to get into the myth of millennials. Millennials get so much shit, and I'm here to talk about it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I thought we talked about this a little bit, but continue.
We did talk about it a little bit earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
But so there are some millennials, and like as a stereotypical millennial, I mean, like I eat avocado toast and I don't have a savings account. So
Such a basic bee.
yeah, but I saw that Gen Z was like roasting millennials, and I was like, we were supposed to be bros. What's going on?
There's a lot of
And
that going on.
I read through why they don't like millennials, and there are some millennials that are a little cringy, but I think there's cringy people in every generation.
Dude,
but let's talk
Gen
about
Z
cringy
is so
millennials.
cringy. What are you even talking about?
They are funny as fuck.
They are
Even.
cringy as fuck.
Some of it, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. There's little bits. But
They act like we're the problem. It's like, bitch, check out the baby boomers. Keep it moving.
No, we're fighting with the baby boomers. They're going off and doing their thing.
No, they're fighting with us. It's like, we're on your side, you dumbasses.
Yeah. But if you're a Disney adult, I'm so sorry. If you're a Disney adult, there's like a limit to it. There's a limit, and I
We're
love
talking about where you like go to the parks and you get like the hats with like, and you like wear like Disney clothing and stuff. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
I know people like that.
And there's if you like Disney, I will watch animated Disney movies until the day I die because I am a kid at heart.
Yeah.
But I won't go buy the merch because
what?
It's cringy to me. It's a little cringy.
Like American Eagle does merch now for Disney.
No,
they're doing a Christmas thing with them. They're doing sweatshirts and stuff with Mickey on it. And she gets on her phone to shop for American Eagle sweatshirts that have Mickey Mouse on them.
No, I don't like that. No.
It's an AE Disney collaboration, man.
No, thank you. The only Disney that I begrudgingly like is Star Wars, and that's
not even really Disney until like the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Talking about
no, it was like what? It was before the 7th movie came out. It was before the 7th movie came out.
I don't know when they bought the rights to it. I know that it's been around long enough that they already had Star Wars stuff there. I went on my senior trip in 2013. I think the purchase happened at the turn of the last decade when it was 2010.
I thought I was in college. Anyway, so ever since millennials kind of became a thing,
yeah,
baby boomers, Gen X, traditionalists, you name it, have just shitted on millennials. Mm-hmm. And because we are the butt of, we have inherited, and so has Gen Z, but they're a little late to the game. It's fine. We have inherited the shitstorm of like consequences
Yeah.
of their actions.
Yep.
A planet that's on fire, non-renewable resources, minimum wage that's still at what, like 2001 level?
Mm-hmm.
It's a shitstorm. And so when we get pissed about it, when we boycott an industry or stop or find a different way to go around it, they're like, millennials are killing the golf industry. They're killing the
Sorry, the what?
napkin industry. They're killing all this industry. And it's like, okay, maybe it just needed to die because it wasn't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I love about millennials. I think that there are good people in every generation. There are bad people in every generation. I'm not trying to say millennials are the best just because I'm a little bit biased because I'm one of them. But I think that a lot of people just give millennials a bad name because they still call Gen Z millennials. Like Gen Z doesn't get the proper addressing unless it's some weird trend on TikTok. Which
Now,
also,
what's TikTok?
Which also, by the way, is a knockoff of Vine. You're welcome.
What? It's better than Vine. What are you talking
It's
about?
not. I cannot name a single, like, I can tell you every single Vine, probably, but I can't tell you like one memorable TikTok.
I can.
I can't quote it.
It was that one where like the girl danced and like did a dance and then like thanked her sponsors. Oh wait, that's like 80% of the stuff on TikTok.
Please stop doing TikTok dances. They're so basic.
Have you seen the ones with the duets with girls that are like, I went to Juilliard and I danced in Hamilton, but I'm unemployed, while these girls that have no background in dancing
Yeah, they do that.
making a living off that TikTok.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm ragging on Gen Z. You deserve that a little bit, buddy. I'm sorry.
Oh God. I think I need to watch Social Dilemma movie so we can do a second part of this.
It's a really interesting documentary. I think that the corruption on that and the ill intent is a little too prevalent. Like it just seems like it's malicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten to the point where I think, and don't quote me on this because I may be very wrong on this, but I think that they don't have a way to kind of control the AI, and I don't know for sure if that was said, but it's definitely like it's learning in its own pace. So like the new iPhone 12, let's talk about that. It's got a 4-part A14 Bionic chip, right?
Okay, nerd.
2 different processors, CPU and GPU, you don't care. It has a specific compartment in that chip for machine learning, for your phone to better understand and intuitively understand you. While we're on that, you want fucking Skynet, it's here. Anyway, while we're on that, don't get a smart home. What happens when the power goes out? What happens?
I don't know.
Nothing. You can't turn on your lights with your phone.
Alexa with my Fire Stick's enough for me.
Yep. I have a Google Home, which is kind of creepy because sometimes it'll talk to me.
I don't want that or the Amazon or whatever Alexa Home thing. I don't want either of those. I
got the Google Home. I got the Google Home before I watched The Social Dilemma. Okay. So
well, I already knew about that shit, so I don't have those. I have the Fire Stick with a remote that if you press the button, you go, "Hey Alexa, I want to watch this." But I don't have one that like runs my lights and shit, and it could hear everything I say.
Mm-mm.
I already got a phone for that, so.
I really just use it as a speaker, but sometimes it talks to me and it freaks me out.
Sometimes they talk to me and it freaks me out.
It does. It'll pipe up. I will be sitting there minding my own business. And I'll be like, sorry, didn't catch that. And I was like, stop.
Siri thinks I'm talking to her when I say seriously sometimes, and it kind of pisses me off.
I think it's funny when people say Surrey.
Surrey?
They say, hey, Surrey. I don't know, it just makes me giggle.
I just know I've said it set it off several times playing video games when I say, seriously? And he goes, I didn't catch that. And I go, no, I'm not freaking talking to you.
Shut up, Siri. There is a lot of really concerning things that are going on with this, and please just be mindful. Spend less time on social media if you can. I know that it's a really good filler, especially if you're depressed, especially if you're stuck at home, especially all these different things. But until we get some sort of change, and I've set up screen time things on my phone just because I want to see how long I'm spending on my phone, and some of the numbers are shocking. If I have a day off and I want to be lazy, I look at my phone.
I don't have it send me
I've
the
been on
screen time reports. I don't let them send me that.
No, I wanted to.
I don't want it to.
I wanted to.
It's embarrassing.
Like,
I spend a horrible amount of time on Twitter.
I believe that.
Wow.
I believe that very much.
It depends. It changes when I'm hanging out with people. I don't usually use it as much.
You're only on Twitter half the time then.
Is there anything else you wanted to add today? I feel like we should do a second part of this episode when I've watched this thing.
Let's do a second part. I'll watch it again, and then we'll come back and do a part 2. So we're going to pause here for now. Come back even more angry, even more ready to eat the rich.
Oh my God.
Get your pitchforks ready, guys. Let's do it. With that being said, go follow us on all social media.
I gotta choose pod, yes. Don't use social media except for when you follow us.
Or you can follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. They don't.
Yeah,
the
Spotify,
AI that
Google,
they use is good.
Anchor, all of it. Yada yada yada. Peace out.